Okay, it's random story time. Do y'all remember that time when Suge Knight sued Kanye West? If not, then let's take a trip back to 2005. Now, we all know Suge Knight's reputation in the industry was once a daunting one. No stranger to controversy, no stranger to drama, and no stranger to death. And when you do enough dirt, it doesn't matter how much time passes, you simply can't outrun what karma may have in store for you. In 2005, while the existence of death row was an afterthought for most, especially due to the myriad of legal issues Knight was involved in, Suge found himself in attendance at a Kanye West hosted party at the Shore Club in Miami prior to the MTV Video Music Awards. There were many stars in attendance, including Ciara, Eddie Murphy, The Game, and Paris fucking Hilton. Knight, who was 40 at the time, was sitting at a table in the VIP section and was approached by someone who was described simply as a black man wearing a pink shirt. Not many details of an actual dialogue exchange were made clear, but the guy approached the table and straight up opened fire. A journalist by the name of Sandra Guzman was in attendance that night, and per her New York Post article published shortly after the incident, she described the party as a pretty mellow and low-key affair despite the big names who were present. Everything was going relatively smoothly until midnight when this would all take place. Next thing you know, she and many others were trampled as a result of the stampeding crowd fleeing after hearing gunshots. Knight was hit in the upper leg and had a broken femur as a result, but no one else was hit, and the shooter was never arrested. It was clear that one of many of Suge's enemies got word that he was there, understood the assignment, executed it to some degree, and then dipped. Trouble is known to follow Suge like a shadow, and though hindsight is on my side, I'd want nothing to do with an event that I know he'd show up at, but that's just me, cause you know I don't do drama. But anyway, it had to be a pretty shit-ass situation to be in because those in attendance had their phones and other personal belongings like purses held as evidence for quite a while. Knight himself was checked into the hospital with haste, but his condition was fine all things considered. When you've been a bullet magnet like him, I guess the body eventually adapts. The memes people make of Lil Reese should have been made for this man, like seriously. But eventually time went on and like I said, no arrests were made. Additionally, the remainder of the decade wasn't too kind to Suge. By 2008, he was filing for bankruptcy, and I'm sure that was the catalyst for him deciding to go ahead and file a lawsuit against Kanye for the incident that took place several years prior. In the lawsuit, Suge claimed that Kanye and the owners of the Shore Club failed to provide adequate security, and therefore it was their fault that someone was allowed to enter the gun and let alone actually use it. Suge's attorney, Mark Brumer, would say the following: "He's an icon in the music industry. He walks in a room and he lights it up. He had an expectation of security there. How someone came with a gun into a very VIP party, that just doesn't meet the smell test in life." Brumer would state that Knight racked up medical expenses surpassing $200,000 in cost. Additional damages included a lost 15-karat diamond earring that was stated to be valued at $135,000. That earring came loose in the midst of the madness and was allegedly recovered by an employee at the club and never seen again. In total, Kanye West was being sued for over $1 million. Kanye's team didn't immediately respond to any of this, but when they did, they denied any claims of negligence. Suge would say that he and his entourage were patted down by security before entering and therefore assumed that everyone was also patted down. He'd also say that Kanye and the club owner should have known that the event attended by Paris Hilton and Fergie could produce a, quote, dangerous environment. The lawsuit would also state that it was reasonably foreseeable to defendants that the party would present a dangerous environment with the possibility of weapons, including firearms, being used by or against party guests, given the well-known feuds that have at times pitched East Coast rap and hip-hop stars against West Coast rap and hip-hop stars, some of whom would be attending the party with their associates. Certain hip-hop artists who were invited to the party were not known to be friendly to Mr. Knight. The suit was initially filed in LA, but the Shore Club owner successfully petitioned to have it transferred to Miami into federal court. If Suge were to win this case, the IRS would eat a chunk of the funds regardless, but it would have definitely aided him.
You know, it's like I almost borderline like being sued because it's the only time where I can be myself. Because I sit in those depositions and it'd be hilarious. I remember I was in a deposition with Suge Knight and I had my hands on my face like this, right? And the lawyer was sitting, Suge sitting right there, and Suge's lawyer sitting next to me. He said, can you take your hands off your face? No, it said, take your hands off your face. I looked at him and said, he said, take your hands off your face. I said, look, sir, you're gonna have to ask me nicely to take my hands off my face. Please talk to me with some type of respect. And he says, okay, Mr. West, can you please take your hands off your face? And I said, no.
Well, unfortunately for him, a judge flung this shit out of court about 2 years later, ruling the shooting as unforeseeable. However, Knight appealed the decision, and that was dismissed after he and Kanye settled out of court. Kanye was busy with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy around this time anyway, and Suge was in numerous altercations per usual. And that's pretty much it. You know, in 2014, Suge got shot 7 fucking times at another pre-Video Music Award Party, this time hosted by Chris Brown, and he'd sue Brown for the same exact reason, almost verbatim, but that's another story. Anyway, leave your thoughts below if any, and like and subscribe because that really helps a small YouTuber like myself become a channel OG today. You know the old YouTuber spiel. I'm not gonna keep going. So, alright, well, I'm out, y'all. Appreciate you watching.